Hi, good morning. It's me, Daniela Genus, with another lesson of the day. Today's lesson of the day is focused on raising your prices. Is it time to do so? So I'm going to cover a couple of things in relation to why you should be raising your prices and also why you aren't raising them. I'm a little bit late on this morning, so apologies. I've been running around doing a lot of crazy things, but I'm here and ready to share with you this morning. So, did you know that a 1% increase in your prices can lead to an 8% increase in profits? I don't know the maths. I can't explain how or why, but overall, a 1% increase can lead to an 8% increase in profits. I believe I got that from Inc.com. So they've done some study and they've worked that out. Now, a 1% increase in your prices doesn't actually feel like a huge increase, yet there's so many people that are terrified to increase their prices because they feel like if I increase the prices, nobody's going to pay. Well, there's a variety of reasons, nobody paying being the first one, but also there's an issue sometimes around this idea of worth, that we're not necessarily worth a higher price. And I don't necessarily know where that often comes from, because once you've taken that step out to go into business, I'm going to assume for the most part it's because you believe that you can do or you can deliver the product or service that you've gone in business to offer or to deliver. So therefore, why do you think that people wouldn't pay a little bit more for that? Because you think they're going to pay whatever it is that you're charging right now. So a question that I often ask people is, how long have you been operating and providing the same prices for? And that's a question that you should be asking yourself. So when's the last time you increased your prices? Now, you shouldn't just be increasing prices every month willy-nilly, because obviously what's the point of that? But if you've been operating for an extended period of time and you haven't increased your prices, then you really do need to be asking yourself why. Two questions kind of as a consequence of that. Have you improved? So particularly if it's a service-based business, have you improved? Are you delivering to a higher standard? And if you've not increased your prices for an extended period of time, I'm going to suggest that you probably have improved. I know for me, there's a service that I started offering kind of informally in around October of last year, and more formally in January of this year. And so it's my Build My Business service. I did a session yesterday for Build My Business. This is systems and process mapping. And I know that the delivery I provided yesterday was better than what I provided in October, because I've improved, I've refined it, I've seen where there could be improvements, and I've made those improvements. And therefore, whilst I'm not going to be raising the prices immediately, because as I said, I've only just launched it, the point that I'm making is, even in that short period of time, I have improved just through the repetition of doing the same thing. So if you've not raised your prices for a year, for 2 years, it's likely that, well, I would hope so, that you've improved in the last year or two. And therefore, that in itself warrants an increase in prices, because you're delivering a higher standard. And you've also gained more experience. If you've been operating and kind of delivering your service for anything over 6 months, the more clients that you work with, the more experience that you've gained. Again, that should therefore warrant an increase in prices. So again, when was the last time you sat and really considered the kind of extra experience that you've gained since you set your prices, and how you've improved in your service delivery since you set your prices? Ask yourself that question. If you're sitting wondering whether you really should increase your prices, if you haven't improved, you haven't gained any experience, which I would hope is highly unlikely, because if that's the case, then there's a bigger problem than a pricing problem. Then what you really should be thinking about is how do you make sure that you do improve value and gain extra experience so that you can raise your prices. Because if you're operating and your prices are not high enough, then it's going to be much more difficult to grow, because particularly if you're just breaking even continuously, for example. Because how are you going to grow if you're just breaking even? You need to kind of increase your profit margins, and you can increase your profit margins, as I've said, by increasing the prices. So you've worked out, actually, I've not increased my prices for a year and a half. However, I've gained additional experience, I've improved, I've got better, but I'm scared. I don't know how to go about doing it, but what if people don't pay? How do I justify an increase? Well, there's a few things. Number one is you really need to stop the negative self-talk. That's the first thing. People will pay. Now, this is where this kind of customer persona development, market research, market testing is really important. And so many people kind of ignore this part of the business building process. You need to know exactly who your target customers and clients are. And they need to be people that are going to pay you. And they're going to pay you what the product or service is worth. Now, what we often do is we come up with these concepts for services or for businesses generally, and we think these are the people that are going to pay, and then we try to target those people. But it's not always those people that are going to pay or going to pay the going rate. And you need to make sure that you're targeting people that have the money to be able to pay you and have the inclination to want to pay you. And you work that out by being very specific about who those people are, creating your kind of customer personas or your customer avatars, and going out and testing, so verifying the assumptions that you've made. So and testing is creating the product or service and trying to sell it to them, getting feedback, refining, improving, developing, and then also making sure that you're communicating the benefits and the outcomes, not just the specifics. So, for example, again, using my Build My Business as an example, Build My Business, the specifics, like what does it entail, is me sitting and helping people map out their systems and processes. However, the outcome and the benefits are much greater. And I try to make sure that I communicate the outcome and the benefits, not just the actual service, because people connect with the difference that it's going to make in their life. So if you want to increase prices and you want people to pay for that increase, then you need to make it clear to them what the benefits and the outcomes are going to be. So with Build My Business, the benefits are increased efficiency for the business. You're able to onboard staff much more quickly and much more efficiently. You can boost profits. You can have a business that's not reliant upon you, so you can go and do fun stuff. So I'm not going to do a sales pitch, but they're the kind of outcomes as opposed to the specific tangible things that I do as part of those sessions. And a lot of us, again, focus on the kind of tangible things as opposed to the benefits and the outcomes. So again, a question to ask yourselves, which ones are you communicating in your marketing, in your sales pitch? Are you communicating the specifics of the service or the product, or are you communicating the end outcome and the benefits? Because it should be the latter, not just the former. So you have to obviously incorporate, okay, we do this, this is what you get kind of from a tangible perspective, but that shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be the outcome and the benefits. And once you're clear on what those outcomes and those benefits are and who they're for, and you're clear on kind of how to best market to those people, which you would have found out from doing your market research and your market testing, then you'll find that when you've increased your prices, your marketing is going to hit those right people in the right way, and they're going to be happy to pay, because actually you've communicated the value and the benefits and why they should pay the prices that you're charging. So that's something. You also need to then kind of get comfortable with your pricing. And for some people, it's like, oh my gosh, but is it really worth that? So 2 questions again to ask yourself. Number 1 is, what are your competitors charging? That's one question. And if you're charging much less, then you know your prices are not high enough. Also, if you were, particularly if this is a service-based business, if you were in a full-time job offering this, how much would you get paid? And that's a really good question to ask, because that typically, a lot of the time, we minimize how much we're charging because we're thinking about the business as opposed to what's the going rate. So, for example, I obviously do coaching and consultancy under my business. If I was being paid as a CEO, for example, because some of the stuff I'm doing is CEO level, right? How much would I be being paid? I'm working that out. So you need to be clear on kind of what the industry standard is. And that should also then help you get a little bit more comfortable, because you know that you're not ripping anybody off. And this is sometimes what people think, oh my gosh, we're ripping people off. No, you're adding value. But also what you can do, if you're still feeling uncomfortable, is start to consider the value stack. So with Vision 20, so another one of my services, at one point I was offering it for like a couple of £100. Now it's £1,000. I put the price way up. And I felt really uncomfortable doing that. Not because I didn't think it was worth it, but because obviously I know I was offering it before at a much lower rate. So to make myself feel more comfortable, I looked at the value stack. So what additional things can I add to then make it appear to me, not even outwardly, but for me personally, feel like it's more valuable? So I've added like a wall poster. I've added inputting actions into Trello on my client's behalf. So there's and then there's a report that they get, physical report that's posted out to their house. And then now I'm like, okay, so this is different to what I was providing before because it's added value. So if you're feeling a little bit like, can I really just hike my prices when there's nothing that's changed? Change something, add some additional value. And that can then also help you feel more comfortable and confident. And then finally, I would say pick a date, because you can keep saying, oh, I'm going to raise the price, I'm going to raise the prices, and never raise the prices. Pick a date of when you're going to raise the prices and raise them. Work towards that date. So between now and that date, start to look at what extra experience do I need to gain? Do you need to do any additional training, do you feel? And sometimes we kind of get stuck in this training. I need to do more training. I need to do more training. You don't really need to. But if you do, if you think it's going to make you feel more comfortable raising your prices, then do some more training. Add to the value stack. Make sure that you're clear on who you're targeting, and make sure that you have a clear understanding of the benefits and the outcomes for them, and you communicate them and raise those prices. And remember always, you are worth it, in the words of, is it Maybelline? No, that's not Maybelline, it's Revlon. I don't know who it is, but you're worth it. And if you want to see growth in your business, you have to get comfortable with numbers. You have to get comfortable charging your worth. You have to be confident in the value of the product or service that you're providing. And yeah, that's it. So get your prices raised. If you've watched this and you're thinking, actually, I'm going to set a date, share in the comments the date that you're going to raise those prices. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. And also, if you have been struggling with raising your prices, what are some of the issues that you faced? Let me know in the comment box. And if you need some help with building a strategy that incorporates raising your prices, get in touch. I offer a half-day session called Build My Strategy, and I can really help you looking at kind of competitors, looking at adding to the value stack, looking at how you kind of communicate the benefits and the outcomes to your target customers and clients more effectively. So have a great day. Remember, as always, think big, take action, keep pushing. And my kind of thing for this year is big business energy. If you're really trying to channel big business energy in your life, increase your pricing. You know, some of these big businesses, especially like the phone companies, every year they raise their prices without fail. Channel that big business energy, raise your prices. Have a great day.